All right. What's going on, man? Welcome back to the basement. Amron, how are we doing? I'm like, 15, 20 minutes late. That is my bad. Was recording TikToks, which isn't the most fun thing in the world. But if you run into my TikTok, it's like Ron Stewart Sports. I'll be in this shirt when these come out this week. But how are we doing? How is everybody in this live stream? We're on here for one reason only, to hop in to a puppy draft on Underdog. If you're new here, make sure you check out Underdog Fantasy. I'll have a link in the description. I'll have a link in the YouTube live chat, a link in the comments down below. You go on there. It takes you to Underdog Fantasy. It puts in my promo code. You hop on there. You draft some teams. You use promo code RON. They match your deposit up to $100. And it's an absolute blast. We're going to hop into a puppy today. Puppies aren't around for a long time. There's very few puppies that actually come out in every offseason, but it's $5 to join. It's a tournament, so your top 2 of every 12 teams in your league, the top 2 advance to a tournament where it just takes the highest scoring team of each round, and it just rewards the best team at the end that gets a bunch of money. Now, how are we doing in here? How is everybody? I'm sure people are not all that excited about me taking a little bit long to get in here, but how are we? Let's see. And just make sure we get these comments in here. We got Dave in here. Dave's one of my boys from my hometown. Thank you for popping out. What's up? What do we got? We said Brock saying I'm about to post some dancing videos. We got Sneed Central Gaming. What's going on, brother? Come on, Ron. People are saying, I was using Miami and, I was using like Miami and Jets for like Dalvin Cook in this thumbnail. Just why not? Nice of you to join us. How are we? We got Drew in here. We got Brock in here. How are we? All right. Let's hop into one of these. Let's not take too much time here. I'm going to get Underdog pulled up here in a second. If anybody wants to join with us, we're going to hop on Underdog Fantasy, do a puppy, talk some strategy. And if you guys watched the stream we did with Hayden yesterday, I feel like it was very informative. We got Kevin in here. How are we? What's everybody up to on this fine Saturday evening? All right, let's hop into one of these. Let's get the screen going. Oh, geez, this is not. Oh, it's zoomed in because of the tier list videos that we've been doing. All right, so let's do this. All right, we're going to hop into the Puppy 2 right here. $5 enter. $1 million in prizes. Why not? Let it fly. Enter. 3, 2, 1, boom. Hope that whoever's trying to get in here with us gets in here with us. If your name is in this draft room, let me know. But yeah, man, just got done filming TikToks. Literally one of my least favorite things to do. It just sucks to... You guys know me. I have huge outlines and put a lot of effort into videos. So, like, sort of condensing that down into, like, the fast food version, like the too long didn't read version, isn't the most fun thing in the world. But, hey, there's worse things I could be doing than filming dumb videos about... fantasy football. But let's just make sure everything's zoomed in the way I want it to be so you guys can see the draft board. Let's put me down here. Let's put this here. My bad, boys. Just formatting everything. But how are we? What do we got in here? What do we got going on this fine Saturday? Which quarterback has the best ADP value? Right now, to be honest with you, it was Lamar Jackson until his price sort of came back down to earth. But I would say it's probably Justin Herbert right now. I think Justin Herbert's probably going too cheap. It wouldn't shock me if he had an MVP-esque season. All right, so this draft is going. If anybody's in this room, let me know. I'm always curious to know. I don't recognize any of these. Do I? No, I don't recognize any of these names. But yeah, feel free to ask me questions. Redraft, Dynasty. Just give me stuff to ping pong off of in terms of things to talk about. Nothing really that crazy in this draft is happening. Tyreek, this is all just chalk in terms of ADP. Bateman or Judy in Dynasty? Judy for me by a good little chunk. I'm trying to think of my reasoning for that, but I think it's just that Bateman hasn't done anything. Judy kind of produced last year, earns targets, both similar prospects. Also, one of those teams just drafted a first-round wide receiver. All right, so we're on the board. AJB goes. Let's just take Bijan. I like Bijan here at 9. I keep coming around on Bijan even more so. I think I've told you guys this, but my brother thinks like I'm absolutely insane for having him like in my top 6 for redraft rankings. He can't wrap his head around having a rookie running back that high. My takeaway was draft quarterback early still, yeah, essentially. You watched the Hayden stream, love both of y'all's content, sweet. I'm glad a lot of you guys liked it. I thought it was a really good conversation. He does great work. I know some of you guys said like you found Hayden through me or found me through Hayden, vice versa. But yeah, tons of respect for Hayden. And nice of him to, make time to do a stream on a Friday for the boy. We got Kyle in here. What's going on, brother? How are we? Pick 3 over. You're already thinking about your 3rd overall pick in your redraft home league, Brandon. You're a sick man. It's June, bro. It's June. But if I had to pick between the two, it would be Chase. Chase might be the wide receiver 1 overall this year. He led the league in expected points per game last year. He was like hurt or whatever. Really wouldn't shock me for him in year 2 or year 3 here to just be absolutely insane. You said, I'm not going to lie, I've fallen asleep to a lot of long Ron Stewart videos, and I enjoy that. I'm happy to hear it. Damn, you didn't get in. We got Drew at 107. Okay. I see you with the red badge. I literally am drafting in the 9th spot as well. Oh, and your puppy. That makes sense. All right, so I think Bijan, it's like Atlanta, Chicago in terms of correlation. Let's go Amon-Ra St. Brown here. We've talked about this before, but I love Amon-Ra St. Brown's upside case. His peripherals were really similar to Cooper Kupp's last year. He just didn't score touchdowns. And now with like Jamal Williams gone, of course they brought in David Montgomery, but like I'll slam the under on a running back hitting like 17 touchdowns again in that offense. So Amon-Ra St. Brown, year 3 breakout, 20 plus point per game campaign, very much alive and well to me. You said Lamar and Herbo, your most drafted elite quarterbacks, yeah. You said you got number 2 in your home league. How do you guys have draft spots in your home leagues already? What I'll say to everybody that has spots in their home league like this, like it's so early, fellas. Like my 2nd ranked player in my redraft rankings between now and August is probably going to change like 5 times. Right now, gun to my head, like I'll rank those players as Jefferson, CMC, Bijan. But even if I knew my draft spot right now in my home league, I wouldn't really be putting players and names to it, if that makes sense. Yeah, Jamar Chase is a fun pick. I think in home leagues he's gonna fall. I'm gonna be really curious to see what ADP shakes out in home leagues this year, because wide receiver's been so heavy. Even in the high stakes boomer drafts like FFPC, NFFC, the stuff that we play on every year, and I'll definitely be doing more of those streams. But it's even been wide receiver heavy there. But I think that there's gonna be some reservation from guys in your home league to take a Jamar Chase 2nd overall over even like Eckler, McCaffrey, Bijan. It'll be interesting to see. Favorite landing spot for Dalvin Cook? Probably Miami. How high is too high for Bijan? I think I can make a case for him as high as 6. 6 is probably as high as I could go. I would say 6. JT ADP 16 is wild to you. I agree. I mean, this guy got JT at 20th. I agree, but it is tough for me to pass on these 4 wide receivers in favor of JT, especially if I already took a running back. But I agree. I think 6. He should be a 1-2 turn guy. Definitely wouldn't take any of these 3 wide receivers over JT. You have a trade in your inbox. Also, fellas, feel free to leave a like if I answer one of your questions. Helps the boy out a ton. We got like 60-ish people in here. It's popping a little bit. People asking questions. All right, so we have to pick here in a second. Detroit, Atlanta means like Dallas. Makes sense for us. I've been taking a lot of Lamar, but I'll probably chill on that. I have one guy in particular I'm looking at, or two guys actually. I think it's really close for me between ETN and Debo. Man, I was hoping this guy would make my decision easier. To me, in this spot, Lamar, Debo, and ETN are by far the best picks. Let's go Debo. Debo's like the last of like, I don't know, in my eyes, like an elite wide receiver that I would actually take in the third round. But I do think ETN and Lamar are very good picks there, regardless. We'll see if one of them makes it back around to us. We have some people watching at this turn, so I doubt it makes it back. But you said you receive Olave and Brees for Bijan and Kincaid, 10 teams, Superflex start 10. I'm assuming this is Dynasty. And I'd probably take Olave's side, but I'm not crazy about it. Probably Olave's side, but I'm not crazy about it. Yeah, we got Vinny in the 10 spot. Can't wait for casual season. Yeah, it's going to be really interesting. I'd love to know if any of you guys have been in, like, I don't know, like a sleeper mock draft, or if you've been in just like a random ESPN mock draft. How does the first round look? You're saying Hayden loves Miles Sanders? Yeah, I know him and Josh have been loving Miles Sanders. I can't get there. I really can't get there. I think I talked about in the running back rankings video we just dropped. That video with Hayden was great. I'm glad you guys like it. I'm going to have more guests on the channel. Let me know if there's anybody out there you guys want to see. I do have to get in Mike Clay's Instagram DMs and see if I can coerce him to come on the channel. But I kind of doubt it. We'll see. How do we feel about reaching on Keenan Allen in the late third to get Keenan, Mike Will, and Turbo? Been mixing it in since Wings talked about it. And this is in the late third. I kind of like that idea. I don't hate it. As long, like the issue for me in the late third, I'm down to doing the late third, but I need Debo, Lamar, and ETN off the board. Those are my favorite third round picks, or late third round picks right now. Like I would only do that if they're all off the board, which seems to happen sometimes. Like if you were, like I don't know, if ETN went here instead of Najee and you're back to back here, could double tap it. We'll say you kind of have to pray for Herbert to come back to you, but you can always just set up Denver instead to kind of get that Chargers-Denver correlation going. So what do we have here? So we could stack Detroit with Gibbs and Amon-Ra if we wanted to. Could go Fields and get the bring back on our Atlanta, but I think I'll hold off on that. I'm not crazy about any of these wide receivers, to be real with you. I'm going to go Gibbs. I'll go Gibbs here. Why not? Gibbs, we get the Detroit stack going. We'll get some Dallas in there. That works for me. What do you think of Devontae with the Jimmy G news and Eckler? I just got those two at 111. Eckler's just fine to me. Like we've had back-to-back years now where there's been no legendary running back season, so Eckler has been an amazing pick. But I still am chasing that RB1 overall upside, so that is kind of my drawback with Eckler. Like I don't think that he can hit 23 plus points per game. Like some of the recent like monster RB1 overall seasons, but like his floor is really high. I think that at a certain point, that's fine. Like late first Eckler is more than fine to me. And I don't mind Devontae either. Like I know the Jimmy G news is there, but Devontae kind of produces with anybody. Like he did produce with Jarrett Stidham last year in like one off game. Devontae Adams to me is kind of like the last of the elite wide receivers. Like I would still have Devontae over like CD, Garrett Wilson, Amon-Ra. You have your draft lottery coming up next week for fantasy for your home leagues. How are your fantasy leagues doing lotteries and everything already? I just need to figure something out soon. Real ones know that we did a draft party video 2 years ago. Couldn't do it last year because I got COVID on the day we were supposed to draft, which really sucks. What was I gonna say though? But yeah, for this year, I'm thinking about calling up like a hotel and seeing if we can use their ballroom for a fantasy draft. We'll get some like drinks going. We'll get like the draft board. We'll record it all. How do you guys feel about that? Would you guys like to see a video like that with like me and like the 11 of my buddies that we're in a home league together with? Because I thought that video a couple years ago was fun. It seems like a lot of you guys liked it too. But again, like OGs know about that video. What do you think about going RB for the first two picks in the back half of the draft? I like it, especially in like a wide receiver heavy room. You can just stack up your advantage at running back. And each of the last like 2 years, the big money best ball mania teams have been double hero RB, where they double tap running back up top. Home league should be as wide receiver heavy as underdog, in my opinion, if they're full PPR. Yeah, I agree. Full PPR leagues, like my rankings will look very much, or I mean, I've already done rankings, but they look very much like this. I would do the same in home leagues, but I think that there's some guys, like even in my home league with my high school buddies, who would feel really weird about taking any wide receiver at like 102, you know? Favorite strategy so far this year? My favorite strategy is probably taking wide receiver up top, wide receiver, and then running back. So kind of like a modified double hero RB, or like wide receiver, running back. Finding a way to stack up running backs in like rounds 2, 3, or 3, 4, and just getting an elite wide receiver early and kind of getting out of there. But I don't know. You got offered Devonta Smith and a third for Treylon Burks and Dobbins in a 12-team PPR tight end premium superflex. Thoughts? Yeah, I probably hold Burks and Dobbins there. Like, I don't see in Dynasty, I don't have Devonta Smith all that much higher than Treylon Burks, like probably only a round or two. And Dobbins is just way more than a third. I'm glad to take JT over Wilson and Amon-Ra St. Brown. Did we all just forget how good it is? How good JT is when healthy. I'll mix them all in, though. Yeah, it's just tough. Especially to Brock, because those like late RB1s are falling. So it's like, man, like, I don't know. Would you rather JT and Debo or Amon-Ra St. Brown and ETN? Or let's say Debo's off the board. Would you rather JT and Amari Cooper or Amon-Ra St. Brown and ETN, you know? I don't know. It's tough. Oh, dude, I've been taking so much Godwin recently. It's crazy. I've been taking a lot of Godwin. He projects really well. I think anytime you can take a guy like Chris Godwin in the 5th round, you probably should. How do we feel about that? You don't think AR is not going to take touches from JT? He will, but JT was never going to win you leagues with his receiving upside. So I'm not all that scared, if that makes sense, you know? Like, Richardson might take some goal line carries, but I think the offense will be overall more efficient. Like, if you look back, like, running backs can just be monstrous in terms of efficiency when they have scrambling quarterbacks. So if we're talking, like, you know, J.K. Dobbins with Lamar Jackson. You saw it in the year with, like, Mark Ingram, where he went crazy with Lamar Jackson. Khalil Herbert last year, even with Justin Fields, was really, really efficient. Miles Sanders with Jalen Hurts last year. So JT, we already knew was never going to be a 60-plus reception guy, so I don't mind him being a low receiving guy and just kind of racking up a lot of efficiency from Hurts. Because I don't see a way with this Colts offense that Jonathan Taylor isn't still fed as like an every down running back. Hearing a lot of fade Debo takes. People are apprehensive towards Debo. At this price, I'm very much fine with him. He was a 1-2 turn guy last year. You can get him late 3rd now. The way that I sort of view efficiency, of course, isn't sticky year to year, but I think certain players have a higher efficiency ceiling than others, right? So like Alvin Kamara has displayed that. Eckler has displayed that. Like Aaron Jones. There's certain players that have access to an efficiency ceiling that some don't. And Deebo Samuel has access to one of the highest efficiency ceilings across the NFL. And we don't bet on efficiency, but he had bad efficiency last year, one of the worst efficiencies. And if efficiency isn't sticky year to year, why not buy him at a discount and hope that it just bounces back to that massive ceiling we've already seen before, you know? Arizona, Lockett, Evans, Deontay. Let's take Pitts. Hate to see it, but I've been taking a lot of, or not a lot of Pitts, but I take some of them. I just didn't really love what was on the board there. Just wasn't in love with it, I guess. Which is the worst landing spot for Dalvin Cook? Yeah, the Jets is pretty brutal. The thing is that because he's ring chasing, like everything else is kind of sweet. Like Chiefs is good, even the Bengals, even if Mixon's still there, like isn't terrible. You said I want to see some CD Carter. Is that Denny Carter? CD Carter? Who's CD Carter? I know Denny Carter. Yeah, that's Denny Carter. Okay, maybe I'll hit up Denny Carter because I've definitely watched his stuff before, listened to his stuff. I prefer Gibbs to Najee at this point. Just receiving upside is there. You're a G-Ron, thank you, man. Maybe I'll hit up Mason. We got breathing fantasy football. Literally, what's going on, my boy? All right, so I'm way behind on the chat right now. But you're saying that would be sick. That would be dope in terms of watching a home league draft. How many drafts have you completed so far? In terms of drafts for 2023, like I would say like around 200 at this point. But everyone's saying that they would love watching a home league like that. All right, so I'll put those wheels in motion then. That'll be fun. We got ST. I don't even know how to say your name, but you're in here. What's going on, my boy? Hero wide receiver season this year? Yeah, exactly. Like I love dipping in early. And then like I said, like once Debo is gone, I'm not very interested in taking early fourth Watson, Mike Williams, like these like I'll take him at the 4-5 turn, but at the 3-4 turn, I'm not all that excited about any of these guys. So that's why I'd rather get in on, Debo and before that in the first 3 rounds. And you can kind of take like a 4th round running back, pair him with like a 3rd or a 2nd, and kind of make like a deconstructed double hero running back build that I've been really liking this year. What else we got in here? I feel like a 1st round wide receiver and 3rd round running back is a lot more advantageous than a 1st round running back and 3rd wide receiver without those 23 plus point upside guys. Yeah, exactly. I think that there's like a very elite tier of wide receiver up top. And then to me, from like Nick Chubb through Travis Etienne, like you guys saw my running back tier video, they're all in the same tier for me. So I don't mind sleeping on that tier of running back if I can get an elite wide receiver. And to me, where that falls off is probably Waddle. Like Devonta Smith, Olave, T. Higgins aren't wide receivers to me that I have to take to forego a JT, Pollard, Brees, all of that, But Amon-Ra St. Brown is still in that tier to me. All right, so let's make this pick. 1 pick away. Miss me on Isaiah Pacheco. Oh yeah, Quentin Johnston all day. Thank you. Thank you very much. I also want to kind of get some stacking stuff in motion. Just in terms of like quarterbacks to pair with guys. We have a lot of late round quarterbacks that we can fall back on late if we would like to. We have the 49ers guys. We have Tampa. I would have liked to go with an elite quarterback, but it just never came to a spot where that was on the table. Like if Justin Herbert made it back to us here when we got sniped, I probably would have thought about Herbert. Sort of souring on Trevor Lawrence. Like Trevor Lawrence can't be the same price as Herbert in my eyes. Like I think Trevor Lawrence, we dropped the quarterback tiers video today. I had him in the same tier as like Dak, Deshaun, and Richardson. But right now, per ADP, like Trevor Lawrence is getting grouped in with Herbert, and I can't really get there. I think the upside is there, but it's really tough. You're drafting him at a pretty high cost there, where he kind of has to hit for that price to make sense. I know the Bucks offense is going to be bad, but like that's priced in. He's at it. Like if this was the Tom Brady Bucks, Godwin is a third round pick. I'll take a 2-round discount on him. No problem. That's just the way I see it. I think JT struggles to get to 22 with Richardson. 22, I think it's tough because you got to get some catches in there, or you have to score like 20 touchdowns. It gets tough. I don't know. Like to me, I really only have Bijan and CMC in there, but I do get bundling them all in. Debo has contingency upside as well that Hayden was talking about. Now that we're talking about Debo, let's make a pick. Bateman, Thomas, Sutton. Let's go Bateman. Bateman's still a fun wide receiver to draft. 5 wide receivers through round 10 is kind of a nice thing to hit, or through round 8 isn't a terrible thing to hit there. What was I about to say, though? Oh, yeah, Debo has contingency upside where if Debo or Kittle went down, 2 guys that have kind of historically dealt with injuries, I'm an idiot. That's Ayuk's upside case I was talking about with Hayden. But I think it would kind of be similar. If McCaffrey went down, Debo probably gets used more as a running back, which is kind of nice. And if Kittle or Ayuk go down, Debo gets more targets, but it's not the same in terms of the upside that Ayuk gets there. I wouldn't really call it hero wide receiver, but yeah, full PPR for sure. Why high on Debo this year with no quarterback? I mean, I think both Lance and Purdy are fine for Debo. Yeah, I gotta have on Scott Connor before dynasty season's fully done. I mean, dynasty season is coming to a wrap, but I think once July starts, when dynasty season is pretty much over, I'll hit up Scott and see if I can have him on before July. I think is a good goal. What else we got in here? Thoughts on reception perceptions, poor comments on Judy. I'm not sure. I'll have to read through them. But I don't think he's ever really been a darling. I think he also has a tendency to take plays off sometimes, Judy. There is some downside. With CO2's upside? Who the hell is CO2? CO2. With CO2's upside in the Saints offense. Am I an idiot? Saints offense? With CO2's upside in the Saints offense, how is not someone worthy to go over JT? Oh, he's my Chris Olave. I guess I just don't see the same upside. Like, they're not going to... Like, Dennis Allen last year was a really run-heavy coach. Like, I don't think it's going to be as much passing volume as people think. If Michael Thomas is healthy, he's going to have a decent target share. I mean, I've said this since Olave came out of school, and his year 1 was so good. I mean, I have him as a top 8 dynasty wide receiver, but I do worry about like his upside. I do worry about it. I don't know if his ADOT is sustainable. I don't think he has any yards after the catch efficiency that he can really offer. I don't know. Things have to really break right for Olave to pay off in the second round is really just my issue. I think it's gonna be lower volume people think. And I don't think Derek Carr is like this. I don't know. I don't think Derek Carr is going to like save him, but I don't know. Like I did my rankings, I think I ended up with him as like an early 3rd, and I think he's good. What else we got? What's your highest owned player at each position so far? Well, it's tough because they're across like Underdog splits them up into pre-draft and post-draft. So I'll give you my post-draft right now. Maybe I'll give you both. Maybe I'll give you both for funsies. Why not? So my pre-draft, my highest exposure player each one. Quentin Johnston at wide receiver, Tank Bigsby at running back, Mark Andrews at tight end, and then Trey Lance at quarterback. But like Lamar Jackson right behind them, so could be worse. And then I have 28 teams right now for my post-draft. Highest drafted quarterback is Daniel Jones. Highest drafted running back, Damian Harris. Highest drafted wide receiver is a 3-way tie between Godwin, Ayuk, and Quentin Johnston. And then Greg Dulcich at tight end. All right, what do we got? Juju. This probably has to be a running back. We got Dimes. Let's go. I kind of do like A.J. Dillon here. Let's go A.J. Dillon. Why not? Not stoked about that pick, but I do feel fine about it. What else we got in here? Trevor had an unprecedented jump this year, going from bottom 8 to QB 11. Thing with Trevor is I can't write him off as like unprecedented or like an off year. Like Trevor Lawrence is genuinely like the great one of these like once every 10-year quarterback prospects. He was just put in such a crazy position with Urban Meyer in year 1 that I'm pretty much willing to just buy that he is a good quarterback and going to be like one of the better ones in the NFL for the next 10 plus years. It's just a matter of when he takes that next jump to challenging for like 30 plus passing touchdowns and like MVP races and stuff. To me, it's a matter of when. I don't know that it comes this year. It's such a big jump that we haven't seen yet that I think round 5 is already kind of like assuming that, if that makes sense. If Godwin is fully back from his ACL, he'll also pay off. And yeah, I guess I just don't view 2021 Wentz, 2023 A-Rich that much differently. I think for me, it's just that I think Anthony Richardson takes away a lot more on the goal line. Like I do think we're going to see Steichen take in that or carry over that and like of course I think Jonathan Taylor still scores 10 plus touchdowns anyways. But like his upside to hit like I think he might have hit like 20 in his RB1 season. I don't want to lie. Actually we could probably see it here. But he scored a lot of touchdowns that year. Yeah, he had 18, so he had like 20. Like I think 18 is going to be tough to hit with Richardson there is really the problem for me. All right, so we're on the clock here. I think I might just take Dimes. Dimes or a running back. Dimes or a running back. I'm going Damian Harris. I hate to say it. Damian Harris just had to happen there. I can't stop drafting Damian Harris. I think he gives us a nice little floor there where I think like Gibbs and Dillon probably backload their points. Yeah, I'm an idiot for thinking CO2 isn't Olave. That's my bad. I was just really struggling to figure that one out. You see Mike Clay's strength of schedule has Saints having the easiest schedule next season. The issue is that you want them to pass more. Like if their schedule's the easiest, man, you're looking really rough because people really aren't factoring in. Dennis Allen was pretty run heavy last year, and he has a defensive background. He just spent a bunch of resources on between the tackles grinders and Jamal Williams and Kendre Miller. Or not between the tackles grinders, but guys who are known for their rush attempts, right? Those aren't satellite backed receiving game guys. You said no reason for background music or anything. That's fair. But yeah, I do love when you guys just start throwing stuff at me. And I just talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. But yeah, with those A-Rich goal line carries, what I was trying to say is, like, I don't know. Like, do you guys think that the NFL comes out and decides, like, hey, this goal line stuff, like, this isn't football. Like, the Jalen Hurts, like, what do you even call that play? But, like, when it's, like, 2 running backs behind, but, like, all in close, and they just, like, cheese their way up the middle, and it's, like, unguardable in short yard situations. You have to imagine, too, like, the thing with, like, I think Steichen's just going to cheese that with Anthony Richardson is kind of what it comes down to. Like, when you take, I compared to my QB tiers video, like, Jalen Hurts is a big dude that hits drug sticks on guys, and Anthony Richardson has, like, 20 pounds on him. Like, I don't see how in close with Quentin Nelson as, like, your guard and just going between guard and center, between Quentin Nelson, whoever your center is in Indianapolis, and just cheesing, like, 10-plus touchdowns. So I think that's the issue for Taylor's upside. But I think the offense is going to be fine. I think Richardson and Taylor can still pay off. Just nitpicking in terms of, like, does JT's upside cap at 22 or 20.5, Yeah, I know it's a QB sneak, but it's like a turbo QB sneak, you know? It's like your granddad's QB sneak. And Hayden's made a great point before where he thinks teams might adopt that. Like that, like, I think Josh Allen's best season was like 8 rushing touchdowns. Like, if they cheese that, like, with Josh Allen up front, like his touchdown ceiling might go from like 8 to like 12 Josh Allen, which then would just like create such a huge gap to the rest of the field. Maybe second round Josh Allen like is the correct price. But I don't know. I do think at a certain point, like there is a QB safety element to it, but I mean, when it's short yardage and you have guys like Josh Allen that are just like so big for quarterbacks, it's like it gets tough. I'm gonna go Goff here. We'll stack our Detroit guys. I do need to start looking at some Cowboys. Baltimore Chargers, Tampa. In terms of our passing game, wow, there is nothing at Dallas past Michael Gallup, huh? So I guess we'll start first. Oh, man, there's nothing with Dallas. Okay. Would have been cool if Gallup was still available. So Detroit. What other stacks do we have going on here? Green Bay, Baltimore. Like, what quarterbacks can I squeeze in here? Sadly, like Ritter would make some sense. I need to start thinking about our other 2 quarterbacks here because it's getting pretty rough for our QB room. Detroit playing Cowboys, San Fran versus Washington. Hate to see. I mean, I actually don't hate Sam Howell. Sam Howell has some upside. Like in his one, I mean, it's tough because it's such a small sample. But last year, like he did score fantasy points in his one game. But keyword one game is kind of the issue there. I guess we could do a backdoor Saints stack if we wanted to. Chargers, Denver, no shot. Yeah, I was gonna say if Russell Wilson's still around, then things have gotten a little bit crazy. But this is his ADP, which is wild. Baltimore, Miami. All right. Man, there is nothing that sticks out to me at the top of this list. Let's go Nico Collins. I guess that kind of sets us up for Bryce Young if we want it. Or no, not Bryce Young, Stroud. I'm an idiot. I think the Texans play the Titans in the final week. Just kind of interesting. Singletary, Mechie, why not? I do want to start up some Titans. Definitely not the QBs, though. You can miss me on the QBs. Do we? How many? What are we setting the over under at Will Levis's games played this year? What's the over under? The thing is, it'll be obvious, but I don't know if guys can stop the turbo QB sneak. Like I don't know that even if you know it's coming, that it can get stopped. You know. If Arish finishes as top 10 QB in fantasy, where does his dynasty ranking end up? I'm not sure. I think it would really depend on how good he looked through the air. I think it would depend. Like, if he had more interceptions than touchdowns and finished as the QB 10, I don't think that it goes up, you know? But let's say he had, like, a good year. He probably, you know, is like an early second, late first in terms of the first round. Probably similar to where you have, like, Justin Fields right now. But probably needs to be a little bit better than, like, QB 10, though, per se. What else we got in here? You said Colts interior line sucks, so I don't know. Dude, I'm hoping Quentin Nelson's going to have a comeback season here, dude. Quentin Nelson's going to be a first-team All-Pro. Put that in ink. I wonder if there's a sports book out there that has Quentin Nelson to finish All-Pro. Or no, I'm kind of wilding for first team. I think he finishes on one of the All-Pro teams, Quentin Nelson. The comeback has to happen. Like what? Like I don't understand how I don't understand how he's still not that dude. Like didn't he start with like multiple All Pros to start his career? Oh, great. I was listening to a TikTok to get inspiration for the ones I had to record today. Yeah, he did start. He started with. I mean, he was a Pro Bowler last year, but that doesn't really mean anything. But yeah, he did start. He started his career with 3 All Pro first teams, then an All Pro second team. Never missed a Pro Bowl. Injuries, you're putting me in my bag. Stuff I never like I don't follow offensive linemen, so I would never know what the career path of Quentin Nelson would look like right now. Let's go Rashid Shaheed. We'll reach a little bit on the boy. We're going to need 3 quarterbacks here. Okay, so I need to start planning out. We're probably going to go, that's probably it at wide receiver. Unless if we need, but yeah, this is me just maneuvering the board 101. Like, look, I could take Derek Carr. Everybody at this turn has 2 quarterbacks already. And if I miss out on Derek Carr, I like Bryce Young later. I do think Bryce Young is way too cheap right now, though. Like, I'd probably have Bryce Young ahead of Derek Carr straight up, which is why I was hesitant to take Derek Carr there. I'd almost rather wait. Like, round 15, Bryce Young is way too cheap. And he's going to take Derek Carr. Fine, I don't want Derek Carr. Like I said, I didn't take Derek Carr because I wanted Bryce Young. How are you on Tank Dell this year? Not super high. Wasn't a crazy prospect coming in. Texans have a sneaky deep wide receiver depth chart. I don't know that he's out there in 3 wide receiver sets. Probably comes down to him and John Mechie, to be honest. Thoughts on Chig Okonkwo. And it really sucks with Chig Okonkwo. Because you guys know, like, if you watch my rookie wide receiver report from earlier in the season, like, I was looking at Chig Okonkwo, I was like, oh my God, this guy looks good. I like him in Dynasty. But for redraft, in this snapshot of time, it looks really tough. Like, projecting efficiency out on, like, lower volume for tight ends is tough. His prospect profile wasn't that crazy. Like, he was explosive last year, but he had, like, under a 10 yards per catch in college. Do we just go Singletary here? Do we start? Is there any Carolina? Damn, there's nothing. This is just going to be Singletary. We'll take Singletary here. That's probably it for us at running back. I don't even really love Singletary, but the board is very disgusting right now. My default would have been wide receiver, but I think we should probably end it here unless if it's to set up a stack. There's no quarterback here that I'm really crazy about getting. I think our QB1 in Goff, I don't know if it can last with Kyler, but I think that it actually could work. Honestly, I don't mind getting 2 more of these QBs in this range. Definitely looking at like Stroud, either of the San Fran guys, Young, Kyler is even interesting to me. Also, here's the entire board in case if anybody's like just now coming in. I feel like I should do this more, where it's like you can see the entire thing. But I am pick number 9. We go Bijan, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Debo, Gibbs, Godwin, Pitts, Quentin Johnston, Bateman, Dillon, Dame Harris, Goff, Nico Collins, Rashid Shaheed, and Singletary. What else we got in here? You said, not sure if you mentioned it before, but how do you feel about Bateman debating on trading him in a deal to send Debo away, or trading for him in a deal to send Debo away? I wouldn't trade him away for Debo. Like, I think Debo's value in Dynasty right now isn't high enough to the point where I would trade him. Like I was talking about earlier, but I like him in redraft, like the 3rd round. He has a massive efficiency ceiling where he can just, score touchdowns at a like unsustainable rate, but there's some guys in the NFL that can just do that, like Aaron Jones, Alvin Kamara. I think Debo is one of them, and he bricked his efficiency last year. So I'm down to just bet on a bounce back there. Lions offense juggernaut potential. I got to be honest, I have a tough time calling any offense a juggernaut with Jared Goff, but I guess with Jared Goff they did have a juggernaut offense, like the Gurley years. So I don't know. I think the upside is there. It sucks that Jameson Williams won't be there. It's like their wide receiver core like isn't amazing. But if this OC is as good as he is, what's his name, Ben Johnson, then it has to be done. You said only 2 players in NFL history have started their career with 3 straight All-Pro teams. Damn. That is crazy. It's crazy for a running back to do that, but it makes sense back then. You said you find yourself taking a ton of Stroud since it's easy to stack Texans late. I've been taking more Bryce Young than him. The issue I have with Stroud is I don't think that he's going to scramble. So I don't know what the upside looks like. But if Bryce Young comes in and he actually scrambles a bunch, like he could have a Kyler like rookie year, but I'm not sure. I do think Stroud is still a value though. Like I'm currently setting up a Texan stack as we speak. In Carolina, it's not terrible to stack. Like Chark goes pretty late, Thielen goes pretty late, Hayden Hurst, Chuba Hubbard. If you really want to get crazy, Terrace Marshall, Laviska Shenault. You said Tenga because Stroud wanted him. I don't know. I mean, maybe he has like a Kiki Kuti type stretch. I don't know. Tank is tough, man. Really tiny slot wide receiver. The thing is, like, what is the payoff, you know? I mean, I guess he is cheap enough that, like, maybe he could be like that one, I'm going to take Deonta Foreman, and that's going to be our last running back. I think this might end up being a 3 quarterback, 3 tight end build, if I'm going to be honest here. Pitch should be fine, though. But I really just did like Deonta Foreman, like 11 picks past his ADP. Probably done at running back now. 100% done at running back. We can be done at wide receiver, and I think the only reason to take a wide receiver at this point would be to set up a stack. You said if Dalvin is a Dolphin, I'm going to be sick. I have too much Mostert and A-Chain. Yeah, I've been cooling off on the Miami backfield. I haven't been taking a lot of A-Chain. I haven't been taking any Jeff Wilson, Mostert. Kind of just waiting for him to settle somewhere. Have you drafted many hyper-fragile teams? How do you feel about them with wide receiver going so high? Feels like more of a lottery for the top few RB finishes right now. I have been taking a good chunk. I was talking about it earlier, but I just love this pocket here in like the round 3 to 4 area. Like because you can get like RB, you can get like this is like what, like RB9, RB10. Like you can get back end RB1s. That I think all have, like, I think Breece Hall, Ramondre both have RB1 overall cases. So I've been taking more, like, 2 running backs through 3 rounds and just kind of feeling it out from there. Let's set up the Stroud stacks. Why not? Stroud and Goff, the same dude. We got a $5 super chat. You know who was number 1 in receptions, last year among all college wide receivers? Russian collusion. I appreciate you sending a super chat. Let's look up the every reception leader in NCAA history. Can I get that stat? Year by year reception leaders. I think Purdue was the reception leader this year. I think you might be a fraud, my boy. I think Charlie Jones had the number 1 most. Charlie Jones had 110. Tank Dell at 109. Charlie Jones had the number 1 most. Then it was Jareth Stearns. Then you got Devonta Smith and Justin Jefferson. Then you have Prochet. You have Rondale Moore. Rondale Moore had 114 receptions as a freshman, man. 114 catches. 21 rush attempts. That Rondale Moore freshman season is pretty crazy. Rondale Moore's been growing on me a little bit. With like DeAndre Hopkins gone, Rondale Moore's interesting. I think Rondale Moore is the Tank Dell clone you need to be drafting. Thoughts on the 10 spot? You'll be adding another tight end wide receiver. Aren't you drafting right next to me? I probably wouldn't take Madison that high. Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna call this team buns because you're drafted right next to me. But no, if I'm looking at it objectively, I don't know. If I was to go hyper fragile, I probably wouldn't take Madison in the 5th there. But outside of that, I think you're trying to catch up at wide receiver. You have the Viking stack set up. It is tough. I think you probably took 1 too many running backs in the first 5. If you want my honest take. It's always weird when you guys ask me like how's my team? 'Cause I do feel obligated to say that it's good. But if you want the honest take, I don't know, my boy. Greg Dortch is the answer? Nah. Rondale Moore might be playing on the outside anyways too, but I mean they're both kind of interesting, I guess. Who do y'all think fell? Why do y'all think Dell is better than Downs? I'll give in Tank Dell's in his favor. $2 chat, another draft run. I don't know. I hate being a buzzkill, but it is pretty late. We did do a stream yesterday with Hayden. Wow, so Purdy is gone. Mac Jones is gone. Wow. Okay, so this has to be a tight end here. Buffalo, Gesicki. Can we set up a last second? Gesicki, Carolina, Tampa Bay. Let's just take Knox well past his ADP. And just take probably Baker with this last pick. Probably Baker. I don't mind Baker at all. People forget that Baker, I think he had a QB1 finish in his first year. Oh my God, not the free puppies. Ron really enjoyed the Winks video. I appreciate you. It's buns. Why do y'all have to do me like this? But yeah, I'm probably out of here, but I'll probably stream again on Monday. Might stream again on Monday. We'll see. Trying to get back on my grind uploading videos for you guys. We got back to 3 videos this week. Gonna try and keep that pace of like 3 videos, a couple streams, maybe a few streams, maybe some guests. I will say next weekend's looking slow though, because I got to do a dynasty rankings update. But then following that, you'll probably get my like skyrocketing, some trade questions. I go 2 tight end if I take Waller. Damn. So we really got to take Baker here, huh? His quarterback room is probably too weak, but at least everybody in it is stacked. Gives us 3 different outs for games to pop off. I don't mind it. 3-6-7-2. It's a little bit of a weirder team. But it's like double hero RB. The wide receivers are nice. Probably waited on quarterback too long here, but I think that's probably how you land the ship if your first quarterback is Jared Goff. But, yeah, hit that like button for the boy. As always, that was an Underdog Fantasy draft. If you like what you saw, check out Underdog Fantasy. They have best ball drafts going on all off season long. The puppy is going to close soon. I mean, if we're looking at when does this thing? 65.8% full. I think this thing probably closes by Wednesday. So if you're new, if you haven't tried out Underdog Fantasy, check it out. The puppy is only going to be here for so long. It's $5 to enter, $1 million in prizes. It's a tournament. Top 2 of your 12-man league advances to the tournament rounds where it's just an all-out, who has the highest scoring team, chop off the bottom of your pod, you advance to the final round, and that's where all the big money is. $150,000 to first place. So you can't get that, you can't access that upside if you have like the craziest team ever in a normal 12-man league. You hop in this, you hop in a tournament, low entry point. You can prepare for your drafts as well, where you're in these puppy drafts. Crystal Olave's going round 2. You're in your home league. Olave's there at the 5th round. Boom, where all the values are. It's a great thing. Underdog Fantasy. Links will be in the description, live chat, comments down below. You click it, it takes you there. Use this promo code Ron. I appreciate everybody that came out here. Got another super chat. You guys are so generous. What do we got here? Ron, after that draft, you need redemption. Nah, come on now. How can you be roasting the draft? I thought the draft was fine. Some of the ugliest teams I've ever had have actually been the ones that advance far. So, I appreciate you guys coming out here. And as always, I will see you guys in the next one.